Beloved friends, today we open the hidden door. A door not made of wood nor iron, but of thought, of word, of belief. The secret key has always been in your hand, but too often, you did not know how to turn it. That key is the word spoken with faith, the word clothed in power, the affirmation that carries the very seed of your prosperity. Money, like all things, is spirit in action. It is divine substance, awaiting direction. It responds not to fear, not to doubt, not to anxiety, but to the clear command of the soul that knows its own authority. The universe waits for you to speak the law, to declare, to affirm, to stand in certainty that abundance is already yours. When you say, "Money comes to me easily and effortlessly, in perfect ways," you are not begging. You are not wishing. You are commanding divine substance to flow, aligning yourself with the eternal river that never runs dry. You are unlocking the vault of heaven, a vault that has always been full, yet waits for your word to open. Say with me, "I am a magnet for divine supply. Riches, wealth, and prosperity flow to me now. Every bill is paid with ease. Every need is met before it even arises. I walk in abundance. I breathe abundance. I live abundance." Do you feel the vibration of those words? They are not mere sounds. They are living forces. Every word you speak in faith is a seed planted in the garden of the unseen. And the unseen always manifests in the seen. Speak poverty, and you reap lack. Speak wealth, and you reap riches. The soil is obedient, it cannot resist. The only question is, what seed will you sow? The secret key, my friends, is consistency. Not a timid whisper once in a while, not a hurried phrase spoken in fear, but the steady, fearless declaration of truth. When storms of doubt rage, affirm the opposite. When appearances deny your good, affirm the unseen abundance. When lack knocks at your door, answer with wealth's declaration. The word spoken in faith dissolves appearances, breaks chains, overturns obstacles, and calls forth supply. Say it, "I am rich in mind, rich in body, rich in soul. Money is divine substance and it flows to me in perfect ways. Nothing can be withheld from me, for what is mine by divine right comes quickly, richly, abundantly, and without resistance." Do not argue with appearances. Do not give power to shadows. Remember, appearances are but smoke, while truth is the eternal flame. And truth declares there is no lack, there is only abundance. There is no poverty, there is only divine supply. There is no closed door, for every door swings wide when you speak the word of power. The world may say, "Money is scarce, money is hard, money is limited." But you shall say, "Money is God in action, money is infinite, money is mine now." The world may say, "Times are hard." You shall say, "I live in ease, I live in plenty, I live in joy." For your words create your world, your affirmations shape your destiny, your declarations command your supply. Say it until it sings in your heart, until it pulses in your veins, until you can feel the river of wealth rushing through your very beings. I am open to receive. I am worthy to receive. I am ready to receive. Money flows to me now, in ever-increasing quantities from many channels in perfect ways. I rejoice, for I am prosperous, I am free, I am supplied. This is the secret key. The word spoken in faith, the affirmation repeated with joy, the declaration made without fear. Take this key, and you shall find no lock too strong, no gate too closed, no vault too sealed. For divine supply is infinite, and it rushes to the one who dares to command it. The word is the key, and within it lies the whole secret of manifestation. Every word spoken is a seed. Every word carries the vibration of creation, and when spoken with authority and faith, the word becomes the invisible hand that moves substance into form. The word is not merely sound, it is law, and it is law because it is clothed with belief, conviction, and the breath of spirit. When one learns to speak with awareness, one discovers that the word is the most powerful tool given to humanity, for with it you can bind or loose, you can open or shut, you can bless or curse. The difference between lack and abundance, fear and faith, poverty and prosperity, lies not in the external world, but in the words that are uttered from the heart and mind each day. The word is creative substance in action, and it always produces after its kind. When you say, "I am prosperous," you plant a seed of prosperity. When you say, "I never have enough," you plant a seed of lack. Both will grow, both will manifest, for the soil of the universe does not argue with you, it simply yields to your command. The key is to recognize this truth, and to take charge of the words you speak. For once you know that the word is the key, you will never again speak carelessly. Never again plant seeds of doubt, fear, or limitation. Every affirmation is a declaration of law. To affirm wealth is to call forth wealth. To affirm lack is to summon lack. To affirm health is to invite vitality. To affirm sickness is to give life to it. The word is the tool that shapes the unseen into the seen, the invisible into the visible. Many go through life repeating words of defeat, not knowing that those very words are the chains that bind them. They say, "I cannot afford it." And so the law agrees, shutting the door to supply. They say, "Money is hard to come by." And so money hides itself, for they have commanded it so. Yet when you speak words of faith, words of wealth, words of abundance, the doors of supply swing open, opportunities arise, and what was once invisible begins to flow into form. The word is the key, but the hand that turns it is faith. Without faith, words are empty echoes, but with faith, words are living fire. Speak your word with conviction, with certainty, and the universe cannot resist, for the law is fixed, the law is sure, and the law is obedient to the spoken word. The word carries vibration, and vibration calls to its likeness. When you affirm prosperity, you tune your being to the frequency of prosperity, and all that matches that vibration is drawn to you. You are like a magnet, attracting whatever you continually affirm. If you declare wealth, you magnetize wealth. If you declare lack, you magnetize lack. The word you speak sets the tone of your life. It is like striking a note on an instrument, and once struck, it continues to sound, drawing into your life circumstances, people and events that resonate with that note. Speak discord and your life will echo discord. Speak harmony and your life will echo harmony. Speak abundance and your life will echo abundance. This is why the word is the key, for with it you unlock the harmony or discord that unfolds before you. Nothing is random. Nothing is accidental, it all begins with the word. The ancient truth remains: in the beginning was the word, and the word was creative. That truth has never changed. Creation begins with thought, but thought clothed in the word becomes law. What you think may remain invisible, but once spoken, the word is set into motion, charged with energy, carrying forth into the universe like a decree. The word spoken repeatedly becomes fixed, and once fixed, it crystallizes into form. The tongue is a mighty instrument, either of blessing or of bondage, and to know this is to hold the master key. Many waste their words on idle complaints, on fear-filled chatter, on negative affirmations that create the very conditions they wish to escape. Yet the wise guard their words. They select them as carefully as a jeweler selects precious stones. Knowing each word carries weight, knowing each word builds reality. To say, "I am rich," is to carve wealth into the unseen. To say, "I am poor," is to etch poverty into your path. The soil of spirit takes no offense, it simply grows the seed you plant. The word is also the key to authority. When you speak, you command unseen forces, for the universe responds to certainty. The timid word, the doubtful word carries no power, but the firm word, the fearless declaration, moves mountains. Say, "I am provided for richly," and say it as if it were already true, and the very tone of that certainty sets law into motion. You do not plead, you do not beg, for begging admits lack. You affirm, you declare, you command, because affirmation is faith in action. The word spoken with power is the key that opens every locked door, because no door can remain shut against truth spoken with conviction. The universe does not resist the word of faith, it only yields to it, for that is its nature. To speak the word is to command supply, to direct energy, to order the unseen into alignment with your desire. Many wonder why affirmations sometimes fail. But affirmations never fail, it is the belief behind them that falters. Words spoken mechanically, without faith, without feeling, are like keys turned in the wrong direction. But when spoken with full conviction, with emotion, with absolute certainty, the word ignites and creation follows. It is not the length of the affirmation, but the faith within it that matters. A single word, charged with belief, is enough to overturn years of limitation. When you say, "abundance," and you feel it, believe it, and know it, you set into motion an entire chain of events that lead to the manifestation of that abundance. The word is always the key, but it must be turned by the hand of faith. Therefore, one must learn to guard the tongue, to guard the lips, to guard the speech. Speak only what you desire to see, and refuse to speak what you do not wish to experience. Cancel idle words, reverse them with truth. If you hear yourself saying, "I cannot," replace it with, "I can, and I do." If you say, "I lack," replace it with, "I am supplied." Every moment, you are shaping your reality with words. Every moment you are locking or unlocking the doors of your supply. The key is always in your possession. The question is, will you turn it toward abundance or toward limitation? Speak with purpose, speak with power, speak with joy, and the law must obey. For the word is the command of spirit made manifest in form. Money is divine substance. It is not mere paper, coins, or numbers written on a screen. It is spirit made visible. Energy clothed in form. The living evidence of supply flowing through the channels of the material world. To see money only as currency is to miss its deeper nature. For behind every form lies the formless. Behind every manifestation lies divine substance waiting to be shaped. Money is an expression of abundance, and abundance is the eternal state of the universe. Just as the ocean never runs dry, just as the sun never fails to shine, divine substance never ceases to flow. It is infinite, unending and ever-present, waiting only for recognition, waiting for the consciousness that dares to claim it. When one understands that money is divine substance, the grip of fear begins to loosen, for fear belongs only to those who believe in lack, and lack is but a shadow, an illusion cast by misunderstanding the nature of supply. Money is divine substance because it is spirit in circulation. It moves from one hand to another, from one form to another, never lost, never destroyed, always flowing, always returning. The tides of money are like the tides of the sea, ebbing and flowing, but always there. When you hoard it in fear, you choke its circulation, just as blocking a river causes stagnation. When you release it in faith, it returns multiplied. For divine substance loves movement, it loves circulation, it loves to be used for good. To spend in fear is to affirm loss. To spend in joy is to affirm abundance. Every time you use money with gratitude, you recognize its divine nature, and by recognizing its divinity, you invite more of it to flow into your life. Money, like breath, must move in and out. Inhaling and exhaling are both necessary, and so are receiving and giving. Divine substance grows brighter when it circulates through you, for you are not the owner of it, but the channel, and as the channel widens, more can flow through. Many suffer because they believe money is material and limited, when in truth it is spiritual and unlimited. Spirit is boundless and money, as spirit in form, is boundless too. There is no shortage in divine substance, no scarcity in the mind of the infinite. The same mind that formed stars, oceans, forests, and endless grains of sand has also provided endless channels of supply. When one shifts from seeing money as scarce to seeing it as infinite substance, the flow begins to change. Fearful grasping is replaced with calm knowing, and worry gives way to trust. Divine substance cannot be taken away, it cannot be withheld, it cannot run out, for it is eternal. Only appearances shift, but the underlying source is constant. To anchor yourself in this truth is to free yourself from the illusions of poverty. Money is divine substance because it is part of divine order. Every bill that comes to you carries with it an invisible supply ready to meet it. Every need calls forth its own fulfillment. The universe does not create desire without also creating the means to satisfy it. When you desire to expand, to grow, to create, divine substance aligns itself to support that desire. What many call a lack of money is simply a lack of awareness of the ever-present substance surrounding them. Once you claim that substance through affirmation, through recognition, through faith, it takes the form of money, opportunities, or resources in ways often unexpected. You may declare, "Divine substance is my infinite supply, and money is now in my hands." And channels open, ideas arrive, doors unlock, and provision appears. The form is money, but the essence is spirit, and spirit cannot fail. Money responds to recognition. When you honor it as divine substance, it honors you with greater flow. When you treat it as something unclean, limited, or difficult, you repel it. To say, "Money is hard to get," is to affirm separation from divine substance. To say, "Money flows freely and easily," is to align yourself with its true nature. The law is impartial, it reflects your belief. If you see money as divine substance, it shows up as a friend, a helper, a joyful servant. If you see it as scarce or evil, it hides from you, for you have denied its essence. The secret is not in chasing it, but in recognizing it. Money is not your master, it is your servant, an obedient form of divine energy ready to carry out your command. You do not bow to it, you bless it, and in blessing it, you increase it. Money is divine substance, and is drawn by the vibration of thought and word. When you affirm abundance, when you think of money as flowing, when you see yourself surrounded by wealth, you magnetize divine substance into form. Your consciousness is the mold, and substance takes the shape of your mold. A mind filled with fear produces scarcity, a mind filled with faith produces prosperity. The substance is the same, only the mold differs. Change the mold and you change the manifestation. Instead of saying, I do not know how money will come, declare, divine substance is at work. Money comes to me in perfect ways. Instead of saying, I cannot afford this, declare, everything I desire is paid for by divine substance. These words shape the mold, and substance flows into the new form with certainty. Money as divine substance has intelligence. It finds its way, it knows how to reach you. It moves through channels both visible and invisible. When you release resistance, when you stop clutching in fear, it comes by right paths in perfect timing. Divine substance is always seeking to express itself more fully, always moving toward expansion. If you align with that expansion, money increases in your life as naturally as trees grow or rivers flow. You need not force it, you need only allow it. By affirming, I am open and receptive to divine substance in all its forms, you step out of resistance and into flow. The money that once seemed elusive begins to appear. For it was never absent, it was simply blocked by belief. Money is not outside of you, it is within you, for divine substance lives in your own consciousness. The outer world is but the reflection of the inner world. If you see lack within, you will meet lack without. If you see abundance within, you will meet abundance without. Money is the shadow of your inner knowing, the echo of your inner faith. To increase money, you must increase your recognition of substance. To see yourself rich in consciousness is to see yourself rich in form. Speak often, divine substance fills my life, money flows to me richly and endlessly. And let that truth sink deep into your spirit. As you believe, so it is. Money is not a stranger, not a visitor to be chased, but a constant companion when recognized as divine substance. Consistency creates reality, for what is spoken once may ripple briefly in the unseen, but what is spoken again and again, with faith and certainty, engraves itself into the very fabric of existence. The universe listens not to idle words uttered in passing, but to the steady rhythm of declarations repeated until they become law. Just as water, drop by drop, carves stone, so do consistent affirmations carve out pathways in consciousness until they manifest in the outer world. Many speak affirmations with excitement for a day, or with passion for a week, but when appearances remain unchanged, they fall silent, thinking the word has failed. Yet the word does not fail. It is the wavering of the speaker that halts the unfolding. Consistency is the proof of faith, the unwavering insistence that what is unseen is more real than what is seen. And through that persistence, the seen must eventually bend to reflect the unseen conviction. Every habit of thought becomes reality when repeated long enough. For repetition fixes an idea in the subconscious, and the subconscious shapes the conditions of life. A single affirmation spoken once may stir the soil, but affirmations spoken daily, hourly, in moments of doubt and moments of joy, plants roots so deep that no storm can dislodge them. Consistency is the discipline of faith, the refusal to let appearances dictate the word, the refusal to be swayed by temporary conditions. One who is consistent in affirming prosperity, even when bills are due, even when opportunities seem scarce, proves mastery over appearances, and mastery over appearances always produces demonstration. The outer world must eventually yield to the inner certainty, for the law of mind is fixed. What is impressed within must be expressed without. Consistency is the pressing of truth into the subconscious until it becomes second nature, until the words no longer feel like effort, but like breath. Consider the farmer who sows seed in the ground. He does not plant once and then abandon the field in doubt, wondering if the soil will remember. He waters daily. He tends consistently. He trusts the unseen process beneath the soil. So it is with affirmations. The soil of the subconscious requires steady planting, steady watering, steady tending. Affirmations are the seeds, consistency is the watering, and manifestation is the harvest. Those who quit after a few days are like farmers who abandon their crops before the first sprout breaks the soil, not realizing that the roots were already forming beneath the surface. Consistency is the patience to keep speaking, to keep believing, to keep affirming, even when nothing yet appears, for the unseen always precedes the seen. Consistency creates alignment between thought, word, and vibration. Each time you affirm, "I am prosperous," you tune your vibration to the frequency of prosperity. At first it may feel unfamiliar, as though you are striking a new note. But as you repeat it consistently, the note grows stronger, it reverberates through your being, until it becomes the dominant tone of your consciousness. The universe responds to dominant tones, not fleeting notes. A stray affirmation here, or there is like a whisper lost in the wind, but a consistent affirmation is like a steady drumbeat that the universe cannot ignore. Life begins to echo that rhythm. Opportunities align to that rhythm. Money flows to that rhythm, because reality itself is molded by consistency of vibration. What you consistently affirm becomes what you consistently experience. Many fail in manifestation because they affirm wealth while secretly affirming lack with their actions and words. They say, "I am abundant," but then complain, "I can't afford this." They affirm, "Money flows to me," but then speak daily of how little they have. Consistency is not only repeating affirmations, it is aligning all words, thoughts, and actions with the truth you are declaring. To be consistent means to refuse to contradict yourself, to refuse to plant seeds of wealth one moment, and seeds of poverty the next. Consistency is wholeness, it is single-mindedness, it is walking in harmony with your declaration. A divided mind cannot manifest riches, but a consistent mind, unified in word and action, becomes unstoppable. The subconscious is impressed by repetition, by emotion, and by conviction. A single declaration may touch it lightly, but repetition presses it deeper, carving new pathways, forming new beliefs. Old beliefs of lack, formed over years of repetition, cannot always be overturned by a single phrase. They dissolve through consistent replacement, through speaking the truth again and again, until the old thought has no soil in which to grow. Consistency is the gentle persistence that uproots weeds of fear and plants gardens of abundance. It is the steady discipline that transforms temporary affirmations into living truths. Once the subconscious accepts the new pattern, manifestation follows with certainty. For the subconscious is the builder, the silent worker, shaping outer reality, according to the blueprints consistently provided. Consistency creates faith because faith is strengthened by practice. Each time you affirm and see small signs of demonstration, your belief grows. The more you affirm, the more evidence you collect, until doubt is replaced with certainty. Affirmations are not merely words, they are training for the mind. They are the steady training of thought to align with truth. And consistency is the repetition that makes that training permanent. Just as muscles are strengthened through daily exercise, faith is strengthened through daily affirmation. Consistency builds momentum, and momentum carries you beyond the resistance of appearances. At first it may feel like effort to affirm against the evidence of lack. But with consistency, affirmations become natural, effortless, automatic, and reality shifts to match them. Consistency is also the measure of desire. If one truly desires prosperity, one will affirm it daily, with joy, with persistence, refusing to let go until it manifests. The one who stops after a few attempts reveals only a half-hearted wish, not a true desire. The universe responds to the intensity of your consistency, to the steadfastness of your word. When you persist without wavering, you prove your readiness to receive, and the law of supply rushes to meet that readiness. Consistency is proof of worthiness, for it demonstrates that you value the truth you are affirming enough to hold it firmly, regardless of conditions. Consistency is a declaration of mastery over time. It refuses to be discouraged by delay. It refuses to surrender to impatience. It knows that manifestation is not bound by the clock, but by the law of belief. Every day of consistent affirmation is another stroke of the sculptor's chisel, shaping the unseen into form. Delay does not mean denial. It means the form is still taking shape, and consistency is the assurance that the shaping will continue until completion. To stop affirming is to leave the sculpture unfinished, but to persist is to guarantee its unveiling. Time bows to consistency, for consistency outlasts appearances, and appearances must yield to the steady force of truth spoken again and again. Consistency creates reality because reality itself is the mirror of repeated thought. What you experience today is the result of yesterday's consistency, and what you will experience tomorrow depends on the consistency you hold today. Every great achievement, every fortune amassed, every healing, every success, has been born from the steady repetition of thought and word, until belief became unshakable and manifestation inevitable. To be consistent is to hold the key firmly in your hand, turning it daily, refusing to release it until the door swings wide. The universe honors persistence, for persistence proves faith, and faith commands results. To affirm the opposite of appearances is to rise above the illusion of the senses and declare the truth of spirit regardless of what the outer world may show. Appearances are temporary shadows, fleeting conditions that change like weather, but truth is eternal, unchanging, immovable. When the outer world shows lack, it is only the echo of past thoughts, the residue of old beliefs. To accept appearances as final is to hand power over to shadows, but to affirm the opposite is to claim mastery, to declare that spirit is greater than form, that supply is greater than lack, that abundance is the eternal reality, no matter what the temporary picture may show. The one who learns to affirm opposite to appearances holds the true key to manifestation. For appearances are nothing more than clay, and clay can be reshaped by the steady hand of affirmation. The outer world is always the mirror of inner consciousness, and what you see with the eyes is only the reflection of past states of mind. To look at lack and declare, "I am wealthy," is not denial, but affirmation of truth. It is speaking from the higher law rather than bowing to the lower. If you only affirm what you see, you remain chained to appearances, forever repeating cycles of lack, limitation, and fear. But when you affirm the opposite, you break the cycle, you introduce a higher vibration, you call in a greater reality. To say, "I am prosperous," when the purse is empty is to plant the seed of prosperity that must eventually sprout and bear fruit. To say, "I am free," when bound by debt is to command the unseen forces of supply to bring freedom into form. The unseen is always stronger than the seen. An affirmation is the bridge between them. To affirm opposite to appearances requires faith, and faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith does not wait for evidence. Faith creates evidence. When you declare abundance in the face of lack, you are exercising true faith. You are aligning yourself with the higher law that governs all things. Appearances are governed by the lower law of cause and effect, repeating patterns set in motion by old beliefs. But affirmation in faith introduces a new cause, a new pattern, a new vibration that must eventually change the effect. You cannot break free by affirming the appearance. You break free by affirming the truth beyond the appearance. This is why the most powerful words are spoken in the darkest hours, for when the evidence is most contrary, the affirmation of truth carries the greatest force. To affirm abundance when you already have abundance requires little faith, but to affirm abundance when appearances scream lack is to exercise the creative power that reshapes reality. Affirming the opposite of appearances is not lying to yourself. It is claiming your divine inheritance. It is speaking from the level of spirit rather than the level of form. Spirit knows no lack, spirit knows no limitation. Spirit knows no poverty. When you align your word with spirit, you align with the eternal truth that abundance is your birthright. Appearances may show a closed door, but truth declares the door is already open. Appearances may show an empty table, but truth declares the feast is already prepared. Appearances may show debts and demands, but truth declares every need is already supplied. When you speak truth in the face of contradiction, you call upon the higher law, and the higher law always overrides the lower. Every great demonstration begins with affirming opposite to appearances. The inventor affirms possibility when others see impossibility. The healer affirms health when others see sickness. The prosperous affirm wealth when others see poverty. It is the refusal to be hypnotized by appearances that makes one a master. Appearances are suggestions, but affirmations are commands. The suggestion of lack says, "This is the end." But the command of affirmation says, "This is only the shadow. The substance of my good is already here." The subconscious mind takes direction from affirmation, not appearances. If you allow appearances to dictate your word, the subconscious only reinforces the same conditions. But if you affirm the opposite, the subconscious begins to shift, and as it shifts, appearances must eventually reflect the new belief. The outer world cannot resist the inner word spoken with faith. To affirm opposite to appearances requires discipline. The senses cry out with evidence of lack, but the disciplined mind answers with words of truth. This discipline is the essence of spiritual mastery. It is refusing to speak of poverty, even when it stares you in the face, refusing to speak of sickness even when symptoms persist, refusing to speak of defeat even when circumstances press heavily. Each time you affirm the opposite, you weaken the power of appearances. Each time you stand firm in affirmation, you break down the walls of illusion. Eventually the outer world must bend, for appearances have no strength of their own. They are only mirrors. Change the belief, and the mirror changes. The key is to hold firm long enough, to persist until the reflection shifts, to stand unwavering until truth shows itself in form. Affirmations opposite to appearances are declarations of sovereignty. They declare that you are not the victim of conditions, but the creator of them. They declare that your inner word carries more authority than the outer circumstance. They declare that you are master of substance, not servant of form. This shift in authority is the turning point. For once you truly believe that appearances have no power except the power you give them, you are free. You are free to speak abundance when appearances declare lack. Free to speak supply when appearances declare need. Free to speak victory when appearances declare failure. The word spoken in faith is stronger than the evidence of the senses, for the senses report only what has been, while the word declares what shall be. Affirming opposite to appearances is also an act of courage. It takes courage to speak wealth when others speak poverty, to declare success when others declare failure, to affirm faith when others affirm fear. Yet courage is the doorway through which manifestation enters. The one who dares to speak truth in the face of contradiction proves readiness to receive. The universe responds to that courage by rearranging conditions, opening channels, dissolving barriers. Appearances are only tests of faith, opportunities to prove the strength of your word. If you yield to them, they bind you. If you rise above them, they dissolve. Every contradiction is a chance to affirm the opposite, to strengthen your mastery, to call forth a greater reality. The secret lies in persistence. Appearances may not change at once, for they are the outpicturing of past thoughts and words. But affirmation is a new cause, and a new cause must bring a new effect. Continue to affirm abundance, supply, wealth, prosperity, regardless of what the outer shows. Continue to speak the truth until the truth becomes visible. Continue to declare riches when the purse is empty, freedom when the bills are due, opportunity when the doors seem closed. The consistency of affirming opposite to appearances eventually breaks through the crust of old beliefs, and the new reality begins to shine forth. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable, for truth cannot be denied forever. Appearances fade, but affirmation endures. And what endures always prevails. Receiving is your divine right. For the universe was not created in halves. It was not designed to give without a receiver, nor to offer abundance without someone to partake of it. Just as the sun was made to shine, and the flowers to bloom, so were you made to receive the good prepared for you. There is no separation between the giver and the receiver, for giving is incomplete until reception fulfills it. Every gift of life, every flow of money, every opportunity, every blessing is already moving toward you, waiting only for your willingness to receive it. To resist receiving is to interrupt the natural law of circulation, to block the very flow that was meant to sustain you. To receive is not selfish, it is sacred, it is alignment with divine order, for as you receive, you allow the current of abundance to complete its cycle and flow through you again in new forms. Receiving begins with recognition of worthiness. If you believe yourself unworthy, if you shrink from the good prepared for you, if you doubt your right to abundance, you close the door against the very supply you seek. Worthiness is not something earned, it is something inherent, for you are part of the infinite, and the infinite withholds nothing from its own expression. To see yourself as unworthy is to see yourself as separate from the source. But there is no separation. The same life that created the stars, the oceans, and the endless grains of sand has also created your path, filled with supply, waiting for your acceptance. To affirm your worthiness is to step into alignment with truth. To say with conviction, I am ready, I am open, I am worthy of every good thing. The universe delights in filling the vessel that is willing to be filled, and your willingness is the magnet that draws abundance closer. Receiving is an act of faith. To receive without guilt, without hesitation, is to say I trust the source that supplies me. Many reject gifts, opportunities, or money because of pride, fear, or false humility, thinking that to receive diminishes them or places them in debt to others. Yet rejection is the denial of abundance, and what is denied cannot multiply. To receive is not to be indebted, but to recognize the law of circulation at work. When you accept freely, you set in motion a flow that blesses the giver, blesses yourself, and blesses others as the gift continues to circulate. Refusal to receive breaks the circle, but joyful acceptance strengthens it, creating an ever-widening current of supply. To say thank you with an open heart is to affirm, more is on its way, more is flowing, more is ready to pour into my life. Receiving is your divine right because you are a channel through which abundance flows. You are not meant to be an empty vessel, but a living conduit of supply, drawing it in, using it, sharing it, releasing it, and drawing it in again. The universe is generous beyond measure, but it requires open channels through which to pour its gifts. If you close yourself to receiving, you cut yourself off from the current, but when you open yourself, you become a clear channel through which blessings multiply. Money, opportunities, ideas, friendships, all flow to the one who knows how to receive. The law is simple: as you receive, so shall you give, and as you give, so shall you receive again, endlessly, without limit. To stand open is to stand in harmony with this law, to allow it to work through you without resistance. Many pray for abundance but then reject it when it arrives in unexpected ways. They ask for money but turn away opportunities. They ask for supply but dismiss gifts. They ask for prosperity but reject the channels through which it comes. Receiving requires openness not only in desire but in recognition. The good you seek may not always come in the form you expect, but it always comes. The key is to recognize it, accept it, and bless it, no matter the channel. If someone offers help, receive it. If an unexpected gift arrives, accept it with gratitude. If a new door opens, walk through it boldly. Every form of good is divine substance taking shape, and to receive it is to honor its source. The more you recognize and receive, the more channels open, for the universe delights in expanding the flow where it is welcomed. Receiving is also an inner posture. It is not only about accepting gifts from without but cultivating the consciousness of openness within. A closed heart cannot receive love. A closed mind cannot receive ideas. A closed spirit cannot receive abundance. To receive fully, one must cultivate the inner attitude of receptivity, the openness that expects good, that assumes supply, that believes abundance is natural. This inner posture is built by affirmations, by repeatedly declaring, I am open and receptive to all the good and abundance of the universe. With such declarations, the subconscious shifts, the heart opens, the mind expands, and outer conditions rearrange themselves to match the inner state. Receiving begins within, and once the inner door is open, outer supply flows easily and naturally. The belief that one must struggle for every blessing, fight for every dollar, or earn every ounce of abundance is a chain forged by human thought, not divine truth. Struggle is not the law, reception is. The universe does not make you earn the sunlight. You simply step into it. The universe does not make you fight for air. You simply breathe it. In the same way, the universe does not withhold money, opportunities, or blessings. It offers them freely, waiting for your openness to accept. When you stop struggling and start receiving, you align with ease, and what once seemed difficult begins to flow. To receive is to rest in trust, To know that supply is endless, that your good is already prepared, that what is yours by divine right cannot be kept from you. Receiving also dissolves fear, for fear is born of the belief in scarcity. The one who knows how to receive is not afraid of lack, for they know that supply is constant. When you accept your divine right to receive, you no longer cling in desperation, you no longer grasp in fear, you no longer worry about tomorrow. You stand in faith that tomorrow is already supplied, that every need is already met, that abundance flows without interruption. This faith transforms your relationship with money, with others, and with life itself. You no longer fear receiving too much, for you know the flow is endless. You no longer fear receiving too little, for you know the flow never ceases. You simply open your hands, open your heart, and let the river of abundance pour through you. To receive is to affirm life. It is to say yes to the gifts the universe constantly offers. It is to walk with expectancy, to live with gratitude, to rest in the assurance that your cup is always being filled. The divine right to receive is not limited to a chosen few, it is the birthright of all. Every person who breathes has access to it, every soul who seeks can claim it, every heart that opens can experience it. The only barriers are the walls of belief, and those walls dissolve the moment you say, I am willing to receive. I am open to receive. I am worthy to receive. I allow abundance to flow to me now. For when you affirm it, you claim it, and when you claim it, you step into harmony with the eternal law of supply that was waiting all along to pour itself into your life.